So, what does it actually look like when a city decides to build its future, like right now? Well, today we're going to dive deep into an exclusive investor briefing for a project called Terra Heights. It's right at the heart of what's being called Dubai's next great expansion, and we're here to unpack the massive forces at play.
Okay, let's just jump right in. The very first number that leaps off the page from this briefing is huge, 40%. Now that's how much Dubai's market for off-plan properties grew in just 1 year. And in case you're not familiar, off-plan means homes sold before a single brick is even laid. So yeah, 40%, that's not just growth. That is a market that is absolutely on fire.
And if you're trying to wrap your head around that 40%, get this. The briefing drops this absolutely wild comparison. The value of all those off-plan properties sold in Dubai, well, it's equal to the top 20 cities in India combined. Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about a market that isn't just booming, it's playing in a completely different league.
So you gotta ask, right? What in the world is driving all this momentum? Well, according to the source material, this is no temporary bubble. Nope, this is a calculated, citywide expansion. The developers, they're not just building for today, they're literally building for a much, much bigger Dubai of tomorrow.
And here's where the presentation makes a really bold claim. They say the heart of all this future growth, well, it's not where you might think. All eyes are shifting to a new hub, Expo City. This place is being positioned as the new epicenter of Dubai, and the developers lay out 5 very specific reasons why.
And what's so interesting here is that it's not just one thing. It's this powerful combination of factors. I mean, you've got what's planned to be the world's largest airport right next door. All the amazing infrastructure left over from Expo 2020. Fantastic road connections, a massive events hub, and the whole thing is wrapped in this sustainable, modern design. It's not just a development, it's a complete ecosystem.
Okay, let's zoom in on that events hub for a second, because this thing is a massive economic engine. The Dubai Exhibition Center, they call it the DEC, is set for a colossal expansion. We're talking by 2031, it's projected to be over 1 million square meters. To give you an idea of what that looks like, imagine lining up 12 football fields end to end. Yeah. This is being built to be one of the largest event destinations on the entire planet.
And of course, that kind of scale translates into a staggering economic impact. The projection is that this one center will pump over 55 billion dirhams, that's around 15 billion US dollars, into Dubai's economy. And look, this isn't just about concerts and conferences. It's a magnet for business, for tourism, and this is the key part, for investors. It creates this enormous, ongoing demand for places for all those people to live. Which of course brings us right to the project at the heart of this whole briefing, Terra Heights. So, the big question is, how is this specific development designed to capitalize on that grand vision and fit perfectly into this new epicenter? Well, the developers are pretty much billing this tower as saving the best for last. And its main selling point? It's all about pure, unadulterated convenience. It is the closest tower to the metro, and it has a direct, covered walkway connecting you straight to the station and the mall. I mean, think about that for a second. You can live, shop, and commute without ever having to step out into the Dubai heat. This is what they call a ready infrastructure launch. All the roads, the transit, the amenities, they're already there, ready to go on day one.
Now, once you get inside the apartments, the focus shifts to quality. And the developers are really making a point to say that the materials they're using here, we're talking everything from the flooring to the wardrobe finishes, are a clear step up from their standard projects. It's stuff you typically find in a high-end, branded luxury hotel residence.
But, the vision here extends way beyond the apartment itself. The developers spent a lot of time in the briefing highlighting the shared amenities, which are just on a completely different scale. They're designed to create an entire lifestyle ecosystem.
And believe me, the list is long. We're talking a 35-meter-long swimming pool, multiple sports courts for basketball and paddle, a mini golf, putting green, barbecue spots, cabanas. I mean, the goal they presented is crystal clear. Create a totally self-contained community where you have everything you could possibly need for fun and relaxation right on your doorstep.
And just to help you really grasp the scale we're talking about here, the briefing claims the entire amenities deck is the size of 6 or 7 football fields. Let me say that again, 6 or 7 football fields. That is just a staggering amount of space dedicated purely to the residents' lifestyle and well-being. All right, so let's get down to the brass tacks, the core of this whole briefing, the investment argument. How do they justify this project from a financial point of view? Well, it all boils down to 2 things, proven demand and really strategic pricing. This chart right here is basically Exhibit A for the surging demand they're talking about. In the immediate area, Off-plan sales have just exploded. I mean, they've grown more than 10 times over in just 3 years, going from 400 units sold to 4,400. The argument is simple. This proves there is a huge, underserved market waiting right here.
So you might be wondering, why are they focusing only on 1- and 2-bedroom apartments? Well, the market data gives a super clear answer. These smaller units are really the bread and butter of the entire Dubai real estate market, making up almost half of all sales. So for an investor, the message is really simple. These are the easiest units to rent out and, down the line, the easiest ones to sell.
And here are the actual launch prices. A 1-bedroom starts at 1.5 million dirhams, which is about 400,000 US dollars. 2 bedrooms start at 2.1 million. The whole strategy here is to keep that entry price accessible. And the idea is, when you pair that accessible price with the high rental demand they're expecting, it's projected to deliver a really strong rental yield, somewhere in the range of 7 to 8% once the whole area is finished.
Now, to help de-risk the investment for buyers, the payment plan is tied directly to construction progress. This is a big one. After your down payment, you only pay the next installments as specific construction milestones are actually hit and verified. It's a really smart way to give you peace of mind, ensuring your money is following the real physical progress of the building.
Okay, and finally, the briefing shifted focus a bit to talk about the long-term value for the person who actually ends up living there. And a huge part of that story, believe it or not, is sustainability. The core argument they make is that the building's green design isn't just about feeling good about the environment. No, it's a direct financial benefit to the homeowners. So you're probably asking, okay, how does that actually work? How does it translate into savings for me?
Well, it's actually a pretty simple equation. You have features like better insulating walls and double-glazed windows and energy recovery systems in the AC. All of this means the entire building just uses less electricity. That lower operating cost for the whole building then translates directly into lower annual service fees for the owners. So it literally reduces your total cost of ownership year after year.
So, if you boil this entire briefing down to its core argument, it's this. Terra Heights is being presented as the perfect product, an affordable, high-quality apartment in the absolute perfect location, which is this new epicenter at Expo City at the perfect time, right at the very beginning of what they see as a massive, massive demand curve.
Ultimately, this whole briefing paints a picture of incredible, almost unbelievably rapid growth. They're projecting a need for over 200,000 new homes in just this one area. And that leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating question to think about. What does it actually look like when a city builds with the absolute conviction that its future population isn't just coming someday, but that they're already on the way?